a sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Small Talk. It has been said that a drummer is a kind of a separate breed than other musicians. Now, is that a fact or a fiction? Well, maybe we can find out today, because it just so happens that my guest is a drummer. Ladies and gentlemen, time to meet Bruce Chandler II. Welcome to the show, Bruce.
Hey, thanks for having me.
For sure. It's my pleasure. So are you a separate breed, or do you consider yourself a separate breed?
I mean, in some cases, I'm sure I'm a separate breed than others.
Yeah, right. Now, you started drumming at 17, right?
Yes. Yep.
And you taught yourself?
Correct. Yeah. My mother bought me a drum kit for my 17th birthday, and I kind of just been doing my own thing ever since. So
cool. Now, growing up, did you have any idols who were drummers? Anybody you looked up to?
I was so Metallica is my favorite band, and Lars Ulrich, I was the drummer for Metallica. I've always kind of idolized him or whatnot. Right. That's kind of what I based myself on back then. I wanted to, drum like him and be like him. And obviously, growing up and learning more about drummers, I expanded my, repertoire in the idol section. So, but Lars always has a special place in my heart.
Oh, cool. I remember reading about Ringo when he joined the Beatles, and apparently they were really taken with him and his drumming, and it kind of changed the way they did things. So is that something you do? Like if you're joining a band that, say, already exists, you bring in your own style?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Anytime, I collaborate on anything or join something along the lines, I always bring a little bit of me into it. If it's a cover band or an original or, something along the lines of that. If it's covers, I add a little bit of me to it. I don't play 100% of what, the song might be. I'll add, accents or a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Give it a little me every time. So
right, for sure. Speaking of bands, now, are you currently in a band?
Yes, I am kind of rebuilding the band that I started about 3 years ago. So I'm getting some new members in. The band is called Rezenens. Right on my hat here. I know it's probably backwards, but
I have to look away from the camera.
Oh,
okay.
No, I got you. Rezenens started about 3 years ago, cover band, a little bit of original side too. So right now I'm just kind of building the band back up, getting back out there, going to do, more shows for cover on the cover end. And then eventually once I get, the right crew in and stuff like that, probably start getting back into the originals.
Yeah, right. Now, where do you live? Are you in Tennessee or in New York? I wasn't quite sure.
Oh. Yep, I'm in New York. Yep.
Because you've done a lot of performing already, right?
Yes, yeah. I've been with Grace Musicians Group. They're based out of Nashville, but they have kind of like a department up here or whatnot to where, I'm a part of. So we've been doing a lot of over the past year or so. That's when I've been signed on. We've done a lot of like big casinos, New York State Fair, which has, a lot of people coming in, to that as well. And this year I'm kind of booked for the same amount of shows. So as long as I can get my band ready and going, then we can get back out there and do that again.
Right. So when did you personally start performing professionally, say?
Professionally, throughout high school, high school, I had a little bit of a band. I mean, I wouldn't call us professionals then. I had an original band after college for a little while, but it really took off probably about, 3 years ago is when I, started all this back up and really dove into it and said, okay, if I'm going to start another band, I'm going to, really devote myself to it. So, and that's what I did. I, got a lot of equipment, time, money invested in it all. And then, luckily last year is when I got signed on with Grace Musicians Group, which really accelerated everything way quicker than I thought it would. So, which is great.
Now, are you also a singer?
I do backup vocals. I wouldn't call myself, the lead or a singer along the lines of that, but I can do some harmonies and along the lines of that.
What about songwriting?
Songwriting, I did. I'm not anything close to a lyricist. I can barely talk myself, but
Right.
and drum wise, I do. I did collab on a original with my old band, old bandmates or whatnot. The song's called "You Got Me." I did that is on Spotify, YouTube, stuff like that. It's for Rezenens. I did write the drum part on that, so I have collabed on a couple different projects with drums and whatnot, but singing along the lines of that I haven't. So
Right. Is your stage name Animal the Drummer? I love
yes,
that, by the way. It is so cool.
thank you, thank you.
That's pretty good. Now, what's coming up in March? Later in March is something you have some kind of a photo shoot happening?
Yes, I have a photo shoot that is, like you said, in March there. It's with it's Lumiere Noir. It's like light and dark. That's kind of how they do it.
Okay.
The photographer Mike, he is shot for like Vogue and stuff like that. So that'll be coming out March, and then I'm sure the photos and everything along the lines will be coming out probably shortly after that. So I'm kind of excited because it's we're gonna have the big drums and everything in there, so it'll be fun.
Nice, yeah. Now, as you said, you've performed many places in New York. Are you going to be touring at all?
At the end of June of this year, I do have one out of state show in Pennsylvania. I believe it's called Wally Fest.
Okay.
So what it is we're actually playing like out on a dock, and you're playing to about like 200 different boats. So that's going to be pretty interesting and pretty fun to do, because I've personally never done anything like that before.
Have you done other outdoor performances as opposed to indoor?
I've done quite a bit outdoor performances. It being in New York, we can only do so much in the summer. With winter wise, we're all inside. But last year, I would say about 15 to 20 shows we did outside.
Do you think there's a big difference from inside and outside?
I do think so. Sound wise, I mean, you get a lot more when you're outside. Obviously, it's all open.
Right.
So the sound quality is going to be a little bit different. I think depending on, where you are and what kind of crowd you get when you're inside, if you're in like a club or like a casino along the lines of that, it's more personal. They're like right up there with you. A lot of the outside shows, we've had people, right up with us, near the stage. But other than that, they might be back 10 or 15 feet or so. So I think personal wise, inside shows I like a little bit better, but outside shows for like sound and stuff like that, I like it.
So ultimately, how many members do you want to have in your band?
Prior we had a 4-piece band. So we had, the singer, guitarist, and then we had a lead guitarist, bassist, and myself. This time around, I would like a 5-piece band, singer just himself, 2 guitars, the bass, and myself. So
right now, unlike somebody who's a singer and a guitar player, like they can get out there and do their own separate gigs, the solo gigs. It's a little bit difficult for a drummer to do a solo gig, I would think.
It is. So I do right now. I am collabing with a singer, guitar player who I do some acoustic shows with. So I kind of share the spotlight with him. Marcus Larrabee. He's got his own thing, Larrabee Live, Facebook. So he kind of does the singing and the guitar, and I'm in the back with I'll bring like a little kit or whatnot, a little snare, a little bass drum, and a hi-hat. So
right. Have you ever played any instrument other than a drum, or have you ever thought about it?
I actually wanted to start out on guitar. I had, gotten a little cheap guitar back probably when I was 15 or 16. And that's kind of when the game Guitar Hero came out. I was big into that. So that's kind of why I wanted to get into guitar. But I think, drums were just calling my name once my mom got me the kit.
Yeah.
And I do dabble a little bit in piano, but not as much. So
Yeah, I often find that when you speak to musicians, doesn't matter what instrument they play, they often can transfer to another instrument, although they'll have their favorite, right?
yes, yes. I do find that a lot of musicians, do more than one instrument. I find it amazing when they can do, three or four,
Yes.
well. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow, you have time for all that?
Yeah, and I personally have my own favorite instruments. I mean, I don't play, but I love the drums. That's one of my all-time favorites. And alto sax is another one. Alto sax is another one of my favorites. Those are my two favorite instruments to listen to. Uh, but there's something special about the drums, I think, compared to, in my opinion, any other instrument. Because the way I heard a First Nations describe it, drums are like the mother's heartbeat.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely do keep the beat and the time for the band. So
Right. Have you ever screwed up on a gig?
yeah, yeah, I'd be lying if I said no, but yes, I have made a couple mistakes here or there. Nobody's perfect in my opinion. Even professionals out there have a hiccup every now and then. So
Actually, you should. Yeah, I now refer to my glitches as that. When I make a mistake, it's a creative glitch.
there you go, creative glitch.
Because sometimes they work out better, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
It can happen for sure, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So now who do you have currently? Like you said, you said you're changing things around in your band and kind of
Yep.
revamping. So, but who's with you currently in the band?
So right now I have a lead guitarist, a rhythm guitarist, and a singer. So I'm still looking for a bass player. It's a little tough in my area.
Is it?
Yeah, I live near Syracuse, New York. So it's a big city, but not really a big city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tough. I've actually talked to probably about 6 or 7 different bass players, and either they don't have the time, or it's not working out for them. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Since COVID, things have really picked up as for musicians, correct?
oh yeah, I definitely agree. After once COVID hit, which is I started this project right before COVID, and then we kind of took a break because of that. And then afterwards, there was a lot of bands that were either just starting out because of COVID, being home all that time. They were like, "Hey, let's start a band," So,
Yeah, because
but yeah,
I've talked to
it's
some
picked up.
musicians who collaborated with people like because of Zoom,
Mhm.
who collaborated with people who are in a totally different country now,
Yeah,
So is
yeah,
that something you would ever do?
uh, I mean, I would definitely try it for sure. I mean, I don't know how well that would work with, drums and stuff like that. I'm sure if I could record something and then send it to them to do something like that, I think it would work. The only thing I would be afraid of if it was like a live kind of, if there's a lag or,
Oh yeah.
but technology definitely has, gotten better. I think for musicians and home musicians too, for home studios, and
Mhm.
I can record stuff right on the drums here and make it sound just as good as a you know a live music studio. So
Right, for sure. Now, other than your photo shoot coming up in March, is there anything else coming up real quick? Like say within the next month or so?
not really. Like I said, the biggest thing other than the photo shoot is just at the end of July or June is that big festival out on the water. Right after that, July, we should have a Speedy Fest coming up, which is it's kind of like the New York State Fair, but it's got like hot air balloons. It's like a big hot air balloon festival. So they do a lot of live music. And then at the end of July or August, I should say, is the New York State Fair. So
Very good.
that's
Go ahead. Sorry. Well,
that should be pretty interesting getting all that stuff together for all those. So I'm excited.
so how long does one of your shows last?
Typically it's a 3-hour show. So anytime we go out there, unless we're like opening for another band or something like that, it would be 3 hours typically.
Yeah, that's a long time, right? I mean, do you have, imagine you have a break in between?
So sometimes they do offer breaks. A lot of the times I never really took one because sometimes I just feel if you do take a break, you disconnect with the audience a little bit. Because if you take a 15 or 20, then you might lose some of them. Oh, hey, these guys are taking a break. Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I tend to just push through and do the best that I can.
Very good. Well, I think we're going to end it on that note, so to speak. So just stay on camera. I just want to remind the audience, I've been speaking to a drummer, Bruce Chandler II. He is Animal the drummer, and what was the name of the band again? I'm looking up. Rezenens?
Rezenens, yep.
Rezenens. Yeah, so I will include the title of the band, and you can find him on Facebook. And do you have a website, by the way? I forgot to ask that.
I do. It's Rezenens Studios at GoDaddy.com. We also have Instagram, YouTube, all the social medias.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thanks for everybody for watching the show. I hope you continue to do something, do that, and subscribing would be really nice. Oh, and share. Don't be greedy. Share with your friends so they can see and meet. They can meet Bruce. Wouldn't that be nice, Bruce? Right?
Oh, that would be great.
Thanks, everybody, and peace out.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see.